3 years ago, I woke up at 2 a.m. with a terrible headache. My heart was racing, my ears were ringing, and my hands were numb. I tried to stand up, but the whole room was spinning. I thought to myself, is this a sign of a stroke? I called for an ambulance. When I got to the hospital, the doctor measured my blood pressure 190, 110. Way too high. You're playing with the Grim Reaper, the doctor said sternly. I looked at my test results. Bright red numbers standing out like a warning. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, high risk of stroke. At that time, I was 55 years old and thought I was healthy. I didn't smoke. I didn't drink. I was still working and could carry a 20-kilogram sack of rice up to the second floor without feeling tired. But the truth is, I had spent too many years ignoring the warning signs. Sometimes, my head felt heavy, like something was pressing down on it. I often had trouble sleeping, got irritated easily, and on some days, if I stood up too quickly, my vision would blur. 2. Walking 10,000 steps a day, the simplest miracle. I didn't start with running or high-intensity gym workouts. I just walked. 15 minutes every morning, then I increased it to 30 minutes, and eventually an hour. I walked after dinner instead of sitting in front of the TV. I took the stairs instead of the elevator. Research shows that just 150 minutes of walking per week can lower average blood pressure by 8 millimeter Hg. After 3 months, I noticed something simple. I no longer felt exhausted climbing stairs, and my heart no longer raced with every bit of physical activity. 3. Natural foods. Let food be thy medicine. I didn't used to believe that food could change my health. I thought taking medicine was enough, but I was wrong. I remember the first time I read about the connection between diet and blood pressure. I was skeptical. How could a meal change the terrifying numbers on a lab report? But I had no other choice. I tried, and the results amazed me. I began incorporating foods known to help control blood pressure into my meals. Oats. A bowl of oatmeal every morning because beta-glucan in oats helps reduce cholesterol and supports heart health. Leafy greens. Spinach, kale, and Swiss chard became part of my daily menu, loaded with potassium and magnesium. Beets. I drank beet juice a few times a week. The nitrates in beets help relax blood vessels. Bananas. A simple snack rich in potassium that helps balance sodium levels in the body. After just a few weeks, I saw a difference in my blood pressure readings, and I felt more energized and lighter. I didn't feel like I was on a strict diet. I was just eating better, more consciously, and with purpose. My lifestyle had pushed me to the brink. I started thinking about my daily habits. I ate a lot of processed foods for convenience, loved salty dishes, craved red meat, and had a strong cup of coffee every morning. I worked under constant stress and rarely took time to relax. I didn't really exercise. I only moved when necessary. I thought I was fine until the doctor said something that sent chills down my spine. If you don't make changes, a stroke could happen at any moment. Maybe next month, maybe next week, or maybe tomorrow. That was my turning point. I started researching high blood pressure and how to reverse it without relying completely on medication. I read hundreds of studies, looked into dozens of methods, and in the end, I discovered 5 essential principles that saved my life. 5 principles that helped me lower my blood pressure without depending on medication. 1. Control your salt intake. The silent enemy. I used to pay no attention to how much salt I consumed each day, but when I started keeping track, I realized I was taking in way too much. Soy sauce, instant noodles, processed meats, snacks, all full of sodium. I made a conscious effort to cut down. I reduced my salt intake to under 5 grams a day, used low-sodium seasonings, avoided processed foods, and learned to enjoy the natural flavors of ingredients again. Drop 2. Walking 10,000 steps a day, the simplest miracle. I didn't start with running or high-intensity gym workouts. I just walked, 15 minutes every morning, then I increased it to 30 minutes, and eventually an hour. I walked after dinner instead of sitting in front of the TV. I took the stairs instead of the elevator. Research shows that just 150 minutes of walking per week can lower average blood pressure by 8 millimeter Hg. After 3 months, I noticed something simple. I no longer felt exhausted climbing stairs, and my heart no longer raced with every bit of physical activity. 3. Natural foods. Let food be thy medicine. I didn't used to believe that food could change my health. I thought taking medicine was enough, but I was wrong. I remember the first time I read about the connection between diet and blood pressure. I was skeptical. How could a meal change the terrifying numbers on a lab report? But I had no other choice. I tried, and the results amazed me. I began incorporating foods known to help control blood pressure into my meals. Oats, a bowl of oatmeal every morning, because beta-glucan in oats helps lower cholesterol and stabilize blood pressure. Leafy greens, spinach, kale, and arugula became my regular side dishes. They're rich in potassium, which helps balance sodium in the body. Berries. I replaced sugary desserts with blueberries and strawberries. Their antioxidants support heart health. Beets. I added beet juice to my diet. Studies show beets can help dilate blood vessels and reduce blood pressure. Changing my diet wasn't easy at first. I had cravings, I missed salty snacks and processed foods. But after a few weeks, my taste buds adjusted, and so did my numbers. Not 4. Managing stress, learning to let go. I realized something. Stress isn't just a feeling, it can kill you. Every time I got angry or anxious, I felt my heart beating faster, my mind spinning. And when I measured my blood pressure, the numbers always spiked. I read that prolonged stress is one of the leading causes of high blood pressure. But how could I control it? I tried meditating, but it didn't work for me. I couldn't sit still for 10 minutes without thinking about work or things I had to worry about. But I didn't give up. I tried simpler activities, and surprisingly, they turned out to be incredibly effective. Solving a crossword puzzle every morning. It helped me focus my mind, stop overthinking, and ease stress. Listening to instrumental music before bed. Just 10 minutes of closing my eyes and breathing slowly to the rhythm helped me sleep more deeply and stop the midnight wake-ups. Spending 15 minutes a day walking without my phone. No messages, no scrolling. Just walking and letting my mind wander. I felt lighter each time. Gradually, I realized that managing stress wasn't about eliminating it completely. It was about learning to let go. 5. Get enough sleep. The most important thing we often overlook. I used to stay up late, scrolling on my phone until 1 or 2 a.m. What I didn't realize was that sleep deprivation increases the risk of high blood pressure by 30 to 50%. Sleep is when the body recovers. Without it, your cardiovascular system never truly rests. So I made a change. I set a fixed bedtime, 10 p.m. sharp. I turned off my phone, dimmed the room, and ensured nothing interrupted me. The result? I woke up feeling more refreshed, less stressed, and my blood pressure steadily improved. 6 months later, I went back to the hospital. The doctor glanced at me, then at the results. He raised an eyebrow and smiled. Your blood pressure is 125/80. That's excellent. You've achieved something most people don't have the discipline for. I exhaled in relief. No more fear of stroke. No more pounding headaches, racing heartbeat, or anxiety waking me up in the middle of the night. I had stepped back from the edge, and the best part was, I did it, just by sleeping better.